Here's a look at the PG Unleashed Nu Gundam's bottom part of the inner frame, and it looks absolutely crazy. The feet, the legs, the waist, everything coming up together. It's mind-blowing. Just look at all of the different types of gold. When the MGEX Strike Freedom Gundam came out with that metallic gold inner frame, everyone's minds were blown. This is taking it to the next level. We all know in 2020 when the PG Unleashed RX-78-2 came out with that metallic inner frame, everyone was so hyped up because Bandai has never done something like that before. 5 years later, finally we've achieved something that's even more revolutionary. Just look how big it is compared to the previous perfect grade line. If we get a perfect grade Sazabi, it's gonna go crazy. It basically goes up to halfway up the waist of the PG Unleashed RX-78-2, and comparatively between the two kits, the PG Unleashed Nu Gundam blows the other one out of the water. So it's expensive, but you know, you get what you paid for. This video is not a review. It's more about me giving you guys tips and tricks so that you can avoid some of the mistakes that I made. Just look at the feet. Even the bottom looks absolutely crazy. And the articulation, you can fold it onto many different places. I know many of you guys that have perfect grade kits, MG kits, RG kits, you probably never seen something so crazy on an inner frame. Look at all of the different parts. One thing I must mention, the wiring. You need to be careful to cut the length as precisely as possible, but I even recommend cutting it slightly short by a millimeter or two, just to avoid it from sticking out and making it annoying to put the other pieces on. You should also panel line some of the wide parts early on. I don't know if the wide parts fit perfectly with the inner frame, so you may even consider painting it, because it could look even better if you do that. Notice the yellow rock climbing pieces. The back one is kind of annoying to pull out. What I recommend, use your fingernail on that specific part and just flick it out, and there you go. Don't use pliers or anything because that could damage the model kit. And yeah, you can have it in the rock climbing form, but most people would never move it like that. So you can see, look at all of these pieces. There's even a part that you can pull out like that. Completely unnecessary, but yeah, there's a function to do that. The legs, absolutely absurd. The way the mechanism works to move all of the parts, most people will never realize, but it's crazy. Also, the wiring. A lot of people have also experienced that the metal etching parts have been lifted up. The reason is because the wiring is too long. I actually recommend cutting it 1 or 2 millimeters shorter. It's actually quite fast to remedy. Just take off that metal etching piece, lift up the wire, and you want to cut a tiny bit off the ends. I learned my lesson, so the other parts are fine. Get a nipper or use some scissors, cut a little bit off, and once you do that, the process should be smooth. I'm just being very careful, make it level if possible, and push it right back in place. You can just put the metal etching part on. It should stick given that it's very adhesively strong. You'll be happy from there on out. It's also cool that for the first time they provided this wiring, it gives so many contrasting colors like the red, blue, green, silver, gold, and the different shades of gray. And yeah, the mechanism is absolutely absurd. How did Bandai engineer this? You can see all of the different parts moving together because when you bend the knee, the thrusters move as well in unison. How on earth did they make this? I don't think I've ever seen something look so beautiful, and it gets completely covered up when you put the other piece on. So just observe the glorious mechanism that Bandai has invented. I don't think any of the other kits have ever had this level of complexity, but I'm all for it. Because if you can have the boosters moving in this type of fashion, it goes down and then goes back up again a little bit. That's crazy. Also keep in mind, many of those parts are super detailed and completely get covered up. So you don't even need to clean up all the knobs fully. The top part, you can keep bending it further and further. I'm going to show you later the full bend. But you can see even the red parts underneath shining through the pistons. Wow. I didn't put on those water slide decals onto the gold pistons themselves. I personally think that makes it ugly. And yes, some people have criticized the level of plating on the gold part, saying it's inconsistent, but come on. If you're standing from far away, you won't even notice. All of the nub marks this time as well have been covered up nicely. A lot of undergating on the inner frame too. I know I've been overly critical in the past, but if you clean it up properly, you can't even tell there were nub marks. Too many people as well, I feel like, rush over the process of looking and appreciating the inner frame. Even the pipings on this piece right here, for example, a lot of people would just cover it instantly. Take some time to enjoy the process. I know it costs so much money, but it takes a lot of time and effort and energy, and the experience is part of the process. You can see even the silver parts overlap. It just goes layer on layer on layer. You may even find they have 5 pieces of plastic that cover up, and in the end, it's just a white piece. So internally, as a builder, all of this stuff was going on behind the scenes. And yes, it's sturdy as a rock. So many people are complaining that, oh, the waist is fragile, the legs can't support the weight of the model kit. I believe Bandai has researched and iterated and refined this kit, and the final product, definitely worth it. Now you can see the thruster gets put on and it covers up all that detail. Notice though, there are a little bit of holes. So the HWS kit is definitely coming, maybe next year, maybe end of this year. But Bandai is gonna cook up so many add-on DLCs and they're gonna charge an arm and a leg. Bandai, maybe. We just gotta accept it for now. But look how detailed even the joint parts are. I know many of you Gunpla fans out there, these joint parts are always gray. But finally, we have all of this level of color separation, even the metal etching parts. This was completely unnecessary, but Bandai went all out. I know some people as well will criticize, why is it white? Well, you can paint it if you don't like the color. Panel lining it also makes it look cool. And you can see all of the metallic stickers takes it to the next level. Be careful about the joints though. Some of them are a little bit too stiff, so you got to be careful not to bend the plastic. You just want to insert it right into the hole. Recommend going in a circle motion and pushing up slowly. Don't force it. And you can close the side skirts. That was an interesting choice right there. Bandai has definitely changed the Nu Gundam to elevate it to the next level. As you can see, the articulation is absurd. Look how it moves all together. You won't be able to see the inner workings, but you can make the thigh look like that. This is something that I've never seen before. So many moving parts, and it feels sturdy as a rock. The feet can go all the way back. Make sure not to put too much pressure. If something feels like it can't go further, I wouldn't push it. And you can move it back and forth. All of the poses that you can pull, most people, they just have it standing up and that's it for the rest of their life. But you got to appreciate all the effort that Bandai put. So maybe I'm going to pull off some crazy poses, some acrobatic things, and you're going to see what it looks like. Early on, Bandai used to make grenade kits where you move it a little bit and everything falls apart. But finally, you can observe the sturdiness, so many different parts of movement, and it just flows so smoothly. I know it's a model kit, but you can definitely have fun playing around with it. I know this kit is marketed towards the older generation, 30, 40, 50-year-old guys who used to watch the anime, but this is literally what your dreams look like coming true to reality. Imagine if you were a kid playing around with this, your mind would have been blown. Finally, Bandai has produced something like this, and definitely well worth the wait. Look at all of the articulation, moving the side skirt all the way up. That's something that's not original, but a compromise. I don't know how I feel about this. You can move it around. That's what they recommend doing into the Unleashed form. But the range of motion, most people's actual bodies can't even bend that far. And to have a model kit be able to do this, absolutely crazy. So just think about it. I know it's expensive, but if you really love this franchise and love the series, you'll have so many hours to play around, and you can see the quality is definitely something that third parties can't replicate one-on-one. Okay, maybe the band, someone out there can do it, but so far, I just am mind blown. Some people might even have to buy two kits, one of the inner frame displayed and one of everything put together, because how can you imagine covering everything up? It's just so much detail that will be gone. Metallic stickers, though, are a pain to put on. So many little dots, red dots, green dots, silver dots. I do not think I've ever seen Bandai make waist this cool. The inside is that detailed, and the gold parts. I thought the MGEX Strike Freedom took the gold to the extreme, but this is done in a way that is just absolutely mind-blowing. They have it everywhere, but in the right places. It's not like they overdid it. And you can see the underside of the waist parts have red and white. I didn't even bother to panel line this because you're never going to see this ever again. But here's a glimpse of the inside. So Bandai thought about everything. And finally, this waist part. I have to talk a lot about this because this is one of the most dangerous sections of the kit. If you're not careful, you're going to break this instantly. You can see all the different levels of articulation. You can move the waist all the way back, sideways, up, down. And all of those metallic stickers, those gold parts, so beautiful right here. You must pay attention to the joint mechanism. See that silver part? So many people have broken that by pulling on the kit too hard in one direction. See, I'm putting a little bit of tension. I'm already worried. You can unlock the kit by moving it into this position. That's what holds the leg from moving out like that. but it's such a tiny little part and it holds so much weight. You must be very careful. Here's what it looks like as a close-up, and watch how you can slide the mechanism back down. That's the locking part. See, it's only like a millimeter or two thick. So I do not think that this is the best way to lock it in place, because a lot of people, as you're moving the leg, it will literally force the mechanism to bend out. That applies way too much tension to that part, and it results in a lot of cracking for people. If you do crack the kit though, be sure to glue it, or you might have to watch on videos how to install a steel rod. There's a lot of tutorials, so yeah. Also, the Unleashed stuff on the inner frame, also very, very cool. Now you can just apply the side skirt. So simple. You just slide it on and it's done. Bandai really made this kit easy to assemble. I mean, I guess since it's so large, because all you guys out there, if you've built RG kits in the past, some of them are so tiny and finicky. And here's what the front looks like once it's all assembled. I personally think that this is one of the most fun kits I've ever had to make. The waist is usually just a simple few parts, gray parts, put it all together, and then you move on. But just amazing to look at the process, everything come together, all the levels of articulation. Bandai puts it in the instruction manual to test it out, because most people, if you have it standing, it's hard to play with the waist after that. I just can't get over the fact that so much detail is on the inside, most people will miss it out. These legs, I'm going to have to talk about this for a while. Rotate it and push it down slowly, don't force it in. And now this is a huge warning. You must be very careful when you bend and try to articulate the leg. Look at that. I just moved it out and it slid out of the locking mechanism. Super dangerous moves I'm doing right now. So personally, I would not try to move that leg with the joint in place. What I instead recommend is taking it out, get a pen, and then you can move it super easy and generally no dramas. Yeah, you see you can move it down and then you can also move it back up. But one thing you must be careful, there is a certain range of motion that vertical is maxed out. What happens if you accidentally make it go too far? Well, I'm going to take the risk and show you for the video. Do not try this at home. I'm going to bend it further than the range of motion, and already I've made stress marks. So you must be extremely careful how you move the articulation. If you go too far out, you're going to damage the part. So I'm never going to move this leg when the waist is on. I will only move it once I take it out, use the pen to move into the right position, and then stick it back on. This kit can do the splits though. The articulation is on a different level. So here's a look at the PG Unleashed Nu Gundam's legs. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to make a few shorts with some vertical clips I have, but you've already seen this kit many times. So try to take advantage of the tips and tricks that I've provided, and maybe one day you can get this kit and start building. I promise you, no matter how expensive it is in life, you will get it one day and it will blow your mind. So feel free to give it a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys later.